friends, Kelly here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a flip through on my December daily project of up to where I currently am. I'm not going to flip through all of this. I just wanted to show this monstrous beast. This is my 2016-2017 book, and this is my 2018 book that I am still in the middle of. I have been inspired by the hashtag donebydecember. I believe that it is a few ladies from the design team over at Ellie Edwards that have come up with this motivator to get people to kind of get current, get caught up. That is not something I ever will be. I prefer to actually be about a year behind. So for me, getting caught up would be getting my 2018 book done. So I thought I would take you guys on a little tour and see where I'm at, and let's get started. First thing, I have my title page here. Now, when I started 2018, I thought I might do, instead of chronological, I thought I might do stories and just kind of not worry about it being chronological. And then I quickly realized on December 1st, when I was putting in December 1st, that I don't operate that way. My brain does not do that. I have to have it chronologically. There has to be an entry for every day. It will drive me nuts if there isn't something. So I quickly abandoned the idea of just creating a book of stories and went with chronological. So here I have just a gold transparency. I got this from Hobby Lobby, and I think they're a great place to get papers if you have one close to you. And sometimes I get them from the Christmas area, and sometimes weddings, which actually, or like Valentine's Day, I do find some stuff there. So this happens to be just a regular gold stars. Hopefully you can see the gold, and I have some gold numbers over there. And behind it, I have stories of December, because when I started this page, that's what I thought I was going to be doing. And like I said, I quickly abandoned that. This is something that I do every year. You know, I put the month and the day, or month and the year. And the other thing I do not include a reason why every year, because to me, once I've written this, it's pretty evident that it's the same reason every year. But what I do include is my family Christmas card and our family calendar. And so 2016, and see, here's my 2017. Hopefully it's in frame and you can see that. And my 2018. I actually changed my calendar after this 2019, so it'll be a little different. But the point is to include our calendar just to see what our month looked like. I also include our Christmas card. So my first year of doing this project, it was pretty simple. I just punched some holes, tucked it in there. Got a little more interesting here. Got our Christmas card that year. It's a interactive element. I don't do a lot of interactive elements, but when I do, I keep them pretty simple. Got just a little slider tab there, and I just decorated the back with something cute there. Hopefully when I edit this, I'll remember to blur out my address. If not, oh well, now you have my address. Don't send me any hate mail. Send presents. Send chocolate. Okay, so for 2018, I created a little pocket using vellum and stitched it onto the paper. And then this paper is got a gold foil and it says Happy Everything. That, again, was a paper from the wedding section. So remember, when you're looking for products to put into your December daily project, to think outside of the Christmas areas, to think outside of that, and to just think of what is the shape, the color, the sentiment, what are those things that you're trying to incorporate, and then build from there. I don't buy the Ellie Edwards product line for December daily. I think it's really pretty. Usually it's interesting, but it's not my style, as you'll quickly see as I go through my book. So I don't buy the product, but I love the concept of December daily. So I'm so grateful for her creating this whole community about this project. I don't buy the product. So I create my own little kit. So anyway, that's just my tip, is to look for things outside of the Christmas section. For example, that is a wedding paper. So I have our family Christmas card that'll get tucked in there. And then my daughter wrote our little Christmas letter that year. I don't usually include a letter, but she wanted to make one that year. So this was our first Christmas with Lily. So we had some infertility struggles, and our daughters are 8 years apart, just shy of 8 years apart. So this was pretty exciting to send out this family Christmas card, because the previous year was a sonogram photo of this little one. Okay, so again, like I said, I include our calendar. And then this is going to be one of the only stories of, there'll be a few in this book, but this is one of the only stories that won't have an actual date attributed to it in the book. This actually happens Thanksgiving weekend. It's us putting up the Christmas tree. So I just wanted to make sure that I included that part of the story because that is part of our Christmas story. So I have just our Christmas decorating night, family night, and I have journal cards in here that some I have made myself through Photoshop, and then I also have purchased bundles from digital bundles from In a Creative Bubble, which I believe are all still available, and I'll make sure to link below. And so that's kind of what I've used primarily for journaling. So here I have just bundled up a little bit of red string and put it behind this little die cut that I popped up with some foam. I thought the red string was cute because that's what's tying that little Christmas tree on top there. Okay, here we go into the stories. So for the first spread, the only decorating I did was the journal card, and this I believe is an In a Creative Bubble. When I printed the cards, I made them a little bit smaller so that I could back them with some pattern paper. I do a lot of embossing. Well, I tried to do a lot of embossing, I should say. And so here I've just stamped off the number 1 and embossed it in a red glitter. And that's all I did this because it's a lot going on. It's a very busy little story here. Next, I have another journal card. I believe this is In a Creative Bubble with some pattern paper back behind it. And then I've duplicated that look in a sense with using the same pattern paper, but I've put a piece of vellum, get my fingers in there, a piece of vellum over the paper so that it would tone down the pattern and the brightness. And then I've just used a chipboard number 2 and then put 3 little die cut stars on there to kind of bring it all together. On to story number 3. Here I just added some fun little stickers, word stickers, and a little number. This number came from a sheet of numbers from Target's Dollar Spot, and then some enamel dots. And I chose to print this black and white because I think I originally had in color, but I went back and printed it black and white because there's so much color and so much going on in this spread. I kind of wanted to have a place to rest my eye. I gotta admit, I did not love this pattern paper, but I think the beginning of the book is always just like overwhelming to me. Thinking about doing this whole thing, I tend to simplify the beginning and then eventually I'll get into more complex layouts and projects because I get the juices get flowing. So right here I can tell I was kind of like, what do I do here? Then we start to get into some more creativity and play. That's what I love about this project, is an opportunity to play on a smaller scale. So this little card here is actually a gift card holder. I think this was like a 4-pack from Target Dollar Spot. That is such a great place to look for stuff for this project if you're not already. And I have die cut out a little label and embossed it, and then I've included this tag with my journaling. So again, an interactive element, but not overcomplicated. And then there's a few places where I use this tinsely kind of thread, string, whatever you want to call it, and it actually comes on this little card. It's a little trim card. I have it in a few different colors. I also have black and gold. And this was from Joann's, and I got it in like the ribbon trim area. Somebody had pointed that out to me as a good place to look for this kind of stuff. And so I'm not really big on ribbon and threads and strings and little doodads like that in my projects. So I didn't need huge spools of any of this. So having just this little card is just the right amount. So that is another trick. You can make sure you're looking for smaller quantities of things for your December daily kit. Let me just tuck that back in there. And then for the rest of the page, I just have gone ahead and stamped off some sentiments. Here I played with a shaker card. I have some sequins in here, some snowflake sequins, and again, In a Creative Bubble journal card backed with some red glitter paper. These numbers, I think, well, the number's not on there, it's just a star. But I believe that these were from a sticker sheet I got from Felicity Jane. And there were multiples of this shape, so I just made sure to back it with the same shape. And then this Christmas ornament here dictated the orientation of this star, only because I didn't really look at that when I stuck them together. So that's why that star had to be crooked, because I didn't realize it. So I've just taken a simple little number sticker and stuck it on there, and same thing here. I believe that's just a little sticker. And then for this page, I didn't do much else for embellishing, because the stories kind of the photos tell the stories. Putting up my second Christmas tree. This is a special one that has special ornaments that are meaningful to me from my grandparents and things I've collected over the years. And then we have another Christmas tree. The one that's depicted here is our family Christmas tree with all the kids' ornaments and stuff like that. This is our Advent calendar, and I'm going to pause and talk about this for a second, because I'm going to link below. These little boxes are all digital cut-aparts. It's such a cute little set. I believe it's still available, so if it is, I'm going to link it below. But this big, huge metal house, you can see the scale of it in this photo, I got from Michael's on like a crazy clearance, and I thought, oh my gosh, how fun. I'm going to get this, because I used to have a little box with these tiny little drawers, so we upgraded. And then inside these cubbies are little paper boxes, little bags, and then some, I don't know if you can see from this photo here, but it's like a toilet paper roll that I've covered in tissue paper. And so for our Advent calendar, I'll show you guys what I use. This is my traveler's notebook that I keep for Christmas, just for Christmas. And I have a little insert that I create on my computer with digital papers that I have put out, created out there. And then I just take a piece of craft paper, thicker craft paper, and stitch a seam down the center and create my own little notebook. So I have an Advent, I have a couple of calendars in here, but this one's my Advent calendar. So what I do is I look at the calendar, our family calendar, what we're doing, and then I create this Advent calendar. And so I have candy, toys, and activities. And so all of these things are very small, very little. Maybe it's Hershey Kisses or candy canes or whatever candy, like from the Dollar Tree, the little Santa bells, things like that. And then most days they're getting a piece of candy. Some days they're getting a treat or a trinket or toy or something again that's small that would probably also be in like a stocking. And then activities. And the reason why I have to have this calendar and you see scribbles is because, you know, for example, here on the 12th, that Thursday night, we were going to go look at Christmas lights and have cocoa, or we were going to do some coloring. Actually, let me back that up. That's what we were going to do, was go look at Christmas lights and have hot cocoa. But my daughter ended up having basketball rescheduled to that day. And so instead, what we did was we just stayed, after she got back from her basketball practice, we just sat at the table coloring. And, you know, same thing here. We were supposed to do one thing. Well, something gets changed. Something on the calendar happens. So I'm constantly having to go in and pluck out the little activity slips and change things. So that's kind of how our Advent works. We have activities, color, candy, toys, and chaos is how I like to look at it. Let's see. The other, since I have this out, might as well point this out. The other thing that I wanted to note, which I'm not very good at doing, but I have this intention to take photos, to start out the month of December with ideas of things I want to make sure I get a photo of. I'm pretty happy that I got most of these in that year, but I think I missed a couple. So that's something I would like to be more intentional about and better. But this little traveler's notebook becomes my best friend during the month of December. Okay, back into the flip through. So here I have a 3x8 page, and I've got a little, what are these called? Avery index tabs. And I've used some more of that Gold Star transparency. And here's my daughter's letter to Santa. I've just popped the number 8 on, little sticker here with the photo of them at seeing Santa at her school's event. That this is the cute one. And this is the baby crying one. And I absolutely love that I have this. I'm so glad she did this, because I think it's so cute and hilarious when little babies cry when they have Santa holding them. So I've just put the date here and include another photo. And at this event, my daughter gets to make a craft. So she made a little bookmark, colored it, I guess she colored it. And I wanted to include that in the book So I've just taken some cardstock and created a little vellum pocket with stitching and stapled on these little ring reinforcers, attachers. I don't know what these are called. They probably have a name. It's a die that I have, and I just stapled it on, but I don't know what the true name of these things are. On to the next day, I just decorated the back of this little card. I didn't really have anything else I wanted to put on here for as far as the story goes. This was just a Happy Meal day. I got some Christmas gifts, and my birthday's in January, so this was kind of like a combo. Some different things from a couple of my friends. So here for the number, I've just stamped and embossed the number. I've stamped, this is a stamp set where I have two. They have the outline and then they have the solid. So I stamped the solid in pink, and then I did the outline in red, and then I just took a little bit of like an iridescent clear glitter embossing powder and embossed that, and then I have that on just a piece of white cardstock that I've punched out, and then I have some red glitter behind it that I've used a paper punch, a paper punch to create the background on that, and then I have duplicated it on the back here with the same idea. I kind of went ahead and made two of them. This is the story of writing our Christmas cards. So I included a stamp from putting the Christmas cards together that year, little journaling. I did that on vellum. And I wanted to do that because I didn't want to put a big block of white paper there. I wanted to kind of leave this pattern running all the way down. So I just accomplished that by using vellum. Here is a page outside of the page protector. I don't do a ton of those with photos on it, but here is one. And so I've just cut the scrapbooking paper, because this is not cardstock, it's paper, but I have two pieces. They're a little thicker, so it gives it enough weight. And again, this is just a sticker from the dollar spot, and then I've just cut out this little strip down here and hand wrote on here what we're doing. This is one of those activity nights from our advent calendar, and we got to play a board game. Here is just a fun photo of my daughter sleeping while we were shopping. I have a photo just like this of my older daughter in the same outfit because this was my older daughter's clothes. I don't have a lot of things that I saved, but I happen to have this one. And so they'd be at about the same age, and they're wearing my same outfit, and they're both sleeping, and I think God just gave me this moment so perfectly. So I snapped a photo, and this is like a serious treasure to me. And here is just a little journal card. I'm pretty confident I made this myself. I'm not entirely 100% sure. I actually can't tell if that tree is on the... Yeah, okay. I thought for a second maybe I hand drew that, and I thought I probably did that to cover up a mistake, but I think it's actually intentional. Here I just stamped the number 12 with a little star on the bottom just to put the date there. Here I didn't do anything to the photos, but I did create this little shaker pocket. So this has got some sequins in here, some little iridescent snowflakes, and then I covered the whole piece of paper with tulle and just put down my numbers. So just kind of a fun little shaker pocket. And then I edged out the edge of this page with a little bit of this white pom-pom. And I didn't want to do a ton of that in this book. I might do it one or two more times, but I just really like it peeking out when you have the book closed. Here is a page where I took a 4x6 and I just really embellished it. I had a lot of fun with this card. This is our wedding anniversary. Our anniversary is actually on the 15th, but this was the night we went out. We went out for sushi, and my husband gave me a new cell phone, and this is only in the book because it's a funny story. Up until this point, from my very first my very first iPhone was like an iPhone 3, brand new. Up until this one, which I think this is my current phone now, an iPhone 10 something. I always got his hand-me-downs every single time. So there was always something wrong with it. There was always something, it was always busted on a corner or cracked, or it was always given to me for a reason because he was upgrading. So it was kind of funny that I finally got the phone first. So I got a new phone and then he did about a year later. So I thought that was pretty funny. Here is another one of my simple interactive pages. I have taken a 12x12 and trimmed it down. And then I didn't decorate any of the photos on the inside because they're pretty busy. It's us baking with my mom. So it's just baking with grandma, and I have this journal card here that I know I created this one myself. I remember doing it specifically for this story. And then I just have a little sticker on the inside, and then I have a matching sticker on the outside. And then I fused this pocket shut, like really made sure it was shut, because this is like a fine sand glitter. Total nightmare to work with. I will not include that in any more of my projects. I actually used it all up this last winter to make snow globes with the kids because this stuff was everywhere. And then I folded it in half, and then I pressed and pressed and pressed and pressed until it finally stayed shut, because at first it definitely wanted to pop back open, but it's been sitting in this book flattened out long enough now where it will stay. And then I just simple 3x4 piece of pattern paper, a couple of stickers, and the date. You can tell that I was getting towards the end of working on this project because things get real simple. Here's a great example. I have a 3x4 card from In a Creative Bubble. I didn't do anything to it. I just popped it in here. I do love this card, and I will use it again. And I just think it would be so cute if this was all colored in and embossed and glittered. So maybe that will make it into the next book. And I have just stamped out some sentiments and cut those out. And then here is another journal card from, I believe, In a Creative Bubble. I could be wrong. This could just be one that I made myself. I just can't remember anymore. But again, printed it smaller so that it would fit over some pattern paper. And then I just stamped the number 16 poorly, very poorly. Like, this whole card just tells me I was over it, or at least on this particular day. And here is just a simple card that let's see, I can't tell if this was like this or I stamped it. I think it was like that. I added some enamel dots, did a little journaling, and again, one of those numbers from Target's dollar spot. This was me standing at Target looking at all of these books, trying to pick 2 out to give to my daughters, and I was standing in the aisle crying like an idiot because I was making the mistake of reading the stories while I was standing there. So don't do that if you're looking for some advice. I decided not to do any journaling about this story because for me, I'll remember what it's about, but it was me delivering gifts to some of the staff at my daughter's school. It says her school right there. And then I just had some fun with embellishing onto this little Santa paper. It's kind of a busy paper and it's hard to imagine what I would do with it. So making this little cluster and putting it on this card was really fun. And then this is 18, so this story carries over that evening. My daughter and I made some dipped pretzels, and it was really fun to use this little gingerbread man. Now, for me, it was difficult to put this on here because I wasn't making gingerbread men. I take things so literally sometimes that I have to remind myself to just step back and not worry about it. So at first it felt weird to be putting this gingerbread man down when I'm not making gingerbread men, but I got over it. This is a transparency that came from Felicity Jane. I think I hit up a sale and I got a pack of these transparencies. So this is a lot thicker than the one I have at the front of the book. That one's definitely thinner. This is also sized to a page protector, whereas this piece in the front, I did not size it to a page protector. But this was really fun. I just popped down my daughter's picture from her school party. They made gingerbread houses. And then some artwork she did at school with making some elves and a snowman fight. I thought this was great. It was much bigger, and then I scanned it, or maybe I took a photo. I can't quite remember. And then just scaled it down. Here is this looks like a traveler's notebook size page protector. I'm guessing that somewhere in this era of time, not in December, but when I was working on this project, I must have gotten my very first Citrus Twist Kits album and finally had that size to work with, which I anticipate using a lot more of in my next album. So here is just, again, I decided not to do really any journaling other than putting this title down because it's pretty obvious what this is. I ran out of tape while I was wrapping gifts, so that was frustrating, but it happens every year. And so I just wrote, "Dang it," which is probably a nicer thing than I thought or said at the time. And here, again, I did not do any journaling from this story. I'm just going to have to go off of my memory at some point in the future and I just put the title ha 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 ha. And I have these stickers I'm trying to use up. So here I just put the number again. This was our Christmas party with our friends from our church house group. And so I think what is funny about this picture is that without any context, it's like, what am I looking at here? This guy's got a huge pair of underwear. It was a white elephant game, but you can't probably really see it. And I'm sure you're getting too much glare here and it might not focus, but my husband's sitting back here and the look on his face just cracks me up. So I just love this picture. And then this looks like the last page that I have done. So I'm up to day 20. It doesn't even look like I made it to getting the number on here. I think I ran out of steam. So this is where I'm going to be picking up. So here I just have a little journal card I created. I know this was a crepe paper digital element that I put onto the card, and then I have some die cut out that I have put on the page. So I need to add a number to this and look like that's where I need to pick up from. So the struggle I will have is finding my zone so that it continues to look like it was all done relatively at the same time. So my style has changed. The products I have has changed. Things have changed since I made this portion of the book. So I'm going to have to try to not make it look, I'm going to have to try to duplicate kind of this style I was going for, because otherwise it'll bug me. If all of a sudden I get to this page, which when I get started will be the 21st, and it looks completely different with different techniques and different things I'm doing. So I'm going to try to just get through the rest of this book, get caught up, and then 2019 is where I can have some more fun playing. So that's my album. Last few things that I just kind of wanted to show you guys. Again, I showed you the little trim cards that I have. I do print my photos relatively soon after the Christmas season. So my photos are already printed. I've already gone ahead and done that. I don't really worry too much about which size they're going to be. I know my photos. They're going to be, you know, my 3x4s are almost always going to be portrait, and my 4x6s are almost always going to be landscape. And then I just randomly add a white border. I don't really think about which picture it's going to be or not. For like this picture, it's, you know, 4x6 and it's going to be portrait. So this is probably going to be on a 6x8 page protector or outside of a page protector. But I've got all my photos ready to go. So when I do sit down to work on this project, I can just get going. I've also gone ahead and written the date on the backs of all of my photos. So I don't have to do any guesswork. I can just sit down and do it. I keep them in this little box, so they're protected and ready to go. The other thing I have here, and I apologize, now the sun's going to start playing into my video because it's shifted over my house. But it's nap time, so you gotta get stuff done when you can, when it's nap time. This is a fun little piece that I want to add to the book, and I will continue this going forward. These are little scraps of the wrapping paper from all the gifts we got. Well, not all, but a majority, the significant ones at least. So I saved a little hunk from all of our Christmas gifts. Now my family thought it was a little mental because I'm like yelling at them, give me back the paper, and I'm rustling through the big bag of wrapping paper and ripping pieces out, and so they thought I was a little bit loony, but they're kind of used to it. I'm a scrapbooker, right? So I'm always saving things or taking pictures of weird things. And then the rest of the bits I have in this little vellum envelope, which I will probably just tuck into the book somehow too. I have these little tags that came on a gift for my daughter, my youngest, Lily. This was on her very first Christmas present, so I will probably somehow stick it in the book so it just kind of hangs out. I've gone ahead and printed out some photos of our elf Tippy and all the mischief she got into. This 2018 year was the first year that an elf came to stay with us, and Tippy did not arrive until mid to end of the Christmas season because my daughter asked Santa for an elf to come live with us. So Santa obliged, and a couple days after he got her letter, Tippy arrived at our house. So thank you, Santa. I'd hoped you would avoid the Anderson household, but alas, you have sent us an elf. So with that came letters from Santa. So Santa left a letter for the girls when Tippy arrived, and then also on Christmas morning when Tippy went home. And so I have just created these envelopes out of vellum to slip into the album. I'm not really entirely sure how I'm going to secure them in the book yet. I'm sure I will think of something. So we have those. This is just, I was playing around with adding this December stamp over to a photo, and then I realized I don't really have a place for it in the book, so I'm not sure if this is going to make it in, but I decided to keep it with my stuff. This is all my memorabilia that I keep in this little pouch. Here are some photos my enlargements I've printed. I really wanted to include a photo of our wrapping paper. I've seen this done in other people's albums. I've always thought it was so pretty and cool and wanted to make sure I did that, so I've got that to add. And then I was playing around with kind of getting that bokeh effect on our Christmas tree, so I just did some journaling digitally in Photoshop and created this little page. So these will probably sit back to back in my album. And then the rest of the stuff I have here are just some Christmas cards we got. Again, it's our wedding anniversary. I have a few extra pieces, or rather extra Christmas cards that I tucked in. Not sure if I was going to do anything with them. And then just some notes to myself about the photos and things I wanted to include. So that's where I'm at for my 2018 book. Hoping to be done by December. I think I can manage that. I just got to get all of these things into the book and pick up where I left off, and hopefully it doesn't look disjointed. So thanks for sticking around. If you made it this long into the video, good job. So I am excited to be done by December so that I can start my next project. I am curious, are you doing December Daily? Are you behind? Do you need to participate in the Done by December hashtag as well? Go ahead and drop a comment below and let me know. I would love to hear from you. So thanks so much, friends, for sticking around and watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. And then finally, don't forget to hit that little bell so you're getting notified when new videos are posted. Thanks, friends, and I'll see you next time.